Lis Nielsen, artist in the woods. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my home studio. Today I'll be showing you a painting that I'm working on for my granddaughter as a gift. So I'm trying to look at photographs that I can find of other painters' works where they have painted people dressed in black clothing with the right colors that will make it work. So I did do a drawing, and the dimensions of the boy here and the drawing and his position are a little bit different, and so I'll be changing that about this painting and a couple of other things I don't like. I don't like his arm up here, so I may just drop his arm down. I only worked on this last night for a little while, so I haven't put a lot into it yet. And I want to say right now that I hope you subscribe to my channel. It helps us as artists. It helps us to keep on doing what we're doing. So thanks for joining me and hope you continue watching. Here's a trick I wanted to show you on the horizon line. See where it was off just a little bit. I've got this square edge. Just hook it to the edge of my canvas. Okay. Now I got it. So this gets a little goopy, but that's okay. And then another thing I wanted to tell you. I purchased the Palette Garage, which was great. This is not the Palette Garage, but my Palette Garage case was getting a little flimsy, so I made my own, and I cut a piece of metal that I bought at the hardware store, and then made my own tube out of PVC pipe parts, which works really great. It's sort of indestructible, so that's a really good thing too. This is a little less large of a space, but it seems to be working pretty well, so I just cut it with a hacksaw. On the ends, I put those little round felt things that you put on the bottom of furniture. I put those on the inside and then just stuck it to it, and then you can put clove oil on that, and then it keeps your paints moist longer. So that works for oil. What I'm doing is changing the negative space around him. I've taken the arm away from here. I think it's a better pose, and it makes more sense. I am slowly working on this. I did shorten his body up, which I think helps with the scene also. I am using some mixtures of reddish and yellow on the black t-shirt, and I'm hoping that it will be light enough, but we will see. I am now going to work on the arm here, and I need to work on the shadows around in the fabric. For down here in the pants, I mixed the blackest black, which would be using ultramarine blue, Viridian, probably alizarin, and one of the yellows. So basically black is a mixture of everything. And then I'm looking at his hair. There's some red in the hair, so I go with more of a warm color, which would be a mixture of the cad medium and alizarin. Mixing the skin color, that's another thing. So you need to think of what something looks like in shadow. So if you're working from real life or a model or the scene, you need to look at that color and keep mixing until you get to that value of color, so the darkness or lightness of the color. And so for the skin color down here, it took me a while to get there. It looks pretty dark on my palette. I started off with something too light, and so I finally got there and I got it right on. So just keep trying with those values. That is what makes something really look like it's supposed to look. What I did was I examined paintings from masters to see how they mixed when blacks had light on them. So there are lots of ways to learn. Hopefully you're learning from me. this about the painting. At this point, I want to stop, and I want to make sure that tomorrow that I feel the same way about it, and so I'll give it a day in between before I call it finished. So I am back on the next day after looking at this morning and want to make some changes. So there's just something magic about waiting overnight and taking a look at it again the next day and think about compositionally what is right, what is wrong. So that's what I did, and so I'll be changing a few things. I'll point these out to you. This horizon line needs to be down there, but before I do that, I need to change the land down here. This was supposed to be a hill. I have too much going on in here. I'm going to simplify it out. This shadow should be on this side because there's too much weight on this side. So these are the kinds of things that we as artists question about our work. Something is bugging us, and then we have to think, what is it? And then go ahead and make those adjustments. So that's what I've done. I also went ahead and mixed up my colors here. You'll see in the sky, this is a really good representation here of a light, medium, and dark. Often what we do, especially when doing trees and things like that, we want a light, medium, and dark. And so that we can make those slight variations to cause something two-dimensional that we're working on to look three-dimensional. So here I have that situation here. I didn't do that so much in these areas because I've already got so much down. But I am going to work on the sky, and so I did that there. Mixing up a little lighter tone right now. As it comes forward, the color has a little more clarity. Encourage you to use larger brushes for as long as you can with the painting. It helps to simplify the painting. The more simple a painting is, the fewer the details, the better the painting is, almost always. How it would look if I got a nice shadow going in here. And I can go over it with my palette knife, but needed some dark, some heaviness over on that side. The eye was just drifting out that way, and that isn't at all what I wanted to happen. Take it across the center usually. That was one thing I wasn't sure about with the tree, was that it may need to drift across the center, but then you don't see the trunk in this tree, so it may not look right, you know, going out that much. That's why I hesitated. So. These are the kinds of skills and knowledge that you learn when you read from books like the Edgar Payne book or the John Carlson book. So I did do a little bit of red just to carry that into that area as well, because the red is under the ground there and I want to give it some dimension. So that does help a lot. And then I'll bring my lighter green back over into this area here. But that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about there, and get rid of that shadow on that side and allow this shadow to be here. Little tweaks you do at the end, and I like that this branch isn't quite as heavy, though it does need a little bit of refining in there. those pine trees, the green in those pine trees actually have a lot of warm reds in them. So you consider that in the darks you'll see this dark reddish tone. And you know, depending on where you live, you learn the different kinds of trees and flowers and those kinds of things that grow around the area that are native. Eucalyptus trees are really a lot of fun to paint. They have a lot of color in them at different times of the year. They're beautiful. Not beautiful when they fall. Pine. I gotta think about what pine looks like here on the ends with these needles that stick out. And then the other tree that's in this area that's so wonderful to paint is the cypress. They are very dramatic. Fun. Fuzzy. Okay, looks better. There was one other thing that was on my mind because, you know, it's really important to get a critique even by a non-artist is very helpful. And one thing that a couple of my family members mentioned was this guy's hair, which is very dark. I feel pretty good about it now. I'm happy with it. It's so much better with this shadow here. I put in the lighter grass over on this side. The weight is better distributed in the painting, better balance. The lower horizon line, the hill coming down is much better. I like this area better as well. It's more simplified. And I made this branch less weighty. I did not draw it across anymore. It just felt like that would be a little bit too far of a stretch for the tree naturally. So that's about it. I did change the angle of this shadow just a little bit, exactly straight. So anyway, I am so glad that I had a chance to give this a rest overnight, and it is probably the best thing you can do at the end of a painting, to give it one night between and then try to get back in the next day while it's Find wet. A subject matter that you're interested in and just give it a try. I mean, I never really got instruction on how to paint people. I've taken a lot of workshops, but I've also learned a lot just by doing it. And I encourage you to take a workshop or get some videos or watch some YouTube videos. I'm really glad you came out to watch me today, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, Artist in the Woods. I will be posting a lot more videos, and I'll just keep going until people just aren't interested. So if you are interested in watching more of these tutorials, then please subscribe, and then it will give me an indication that what I'm doing is appreciated. Anyway, happy painting. This is Lis Nielsen, Artist in the Woods. Thanks for watching.